Oh, all right. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Wow. Thank you. I know it's cold, but you guys came out in the cold. No rain yet, so I'm so appreciative of each one of you. If you didn't hear me yell down there, my name is Mikkel Bay. I'm the director of the Children's Advocacy Center of Smethport. We're right down here. We're actually going to be open afterwards, so if you want to come get information, our cards, just learn a little bit about what we do and see our center, you're more than welcome. So we have a couple of just words from different people, and then at the end what we're going to do to wrap up is these pinwheels are going to be planted along the sidewalk in front of the building. We have several kids around here that can tell you where to go, okay, just to plant these. All right, 1 in 10 children are affected by sexual abuse, possibly as high as 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys. A majority will not tell for at least a year, and half of the victims will wait for more than 5 years before telling. 90% of cases are never reported, and 90% of offenders are known to the victims, family, neighbors, community members, babysitters, coaches, authority figures. Child abuse is absolutely a community problem. Today, you will have planted 172 pinwheels to represent each child and family that came to the Children's Advocacy Center in 2021. To represent the belief that every child deserves to grow up in a safe, supportive, and nurturing environment free from abuse. Yeah. That every child deserves to be heard and, even more importantly, believed. The sign out front says, "See something, say something." The last several years have brought many challenges, but have highlighted the importance of reporting to prevent or stop further child abuse from happening. If you have a suspicion of child abuse, please report it to Childline and to our local Children Youth Services. Although April spotlights child abuse prevention and awareness, it is vital that we as a community work to keep children safe all year round by being vigilant in our prevention efforts. Do not let today or this month be the only time you think, what more can I do? It only takes one person to effectuate change, and today you are that person. By showing up, you're telling our children that you care and they're important. I thank you to our partners who work to keep children safe and supported, our Child Protective Services, our local and state law enforcement, our medical providers, our advocates, our clinicians, and the District Attorney's Office. A huge thank you to the following people who made today happen. The Wright family for donating the See Something, Say Something banner hanging across Main Street, and 6th grader Delaney Stromberg for working on the design. Take a closer look on the pinwheel. She did that, guys. It's pretty cool. Chief Pat Warnick and Officer Kevin Sipe for all the support in helping us set this up. District Attorney Stephanie Vettenberg Schaefer and former Assistant District Attorney Ashley Shade for all the amazing work you do. Smethport Elementary School administration, teachers, and students for all the colorful pinwheels you see as you came down our Main Street, and all the other businesses and schools throughout McKean County that have pinwheels blasted everywhere. Nina Burdick and Diana Edwing for the water, McKiernan's Bus Garage, and Todd Rice for donating their time to drive folks back to the Smethport Fire Hall if needed, and the Smethport Fire Hall and Smethport Fire Police. Last but not least, the family, the Wright family, and all the other families who made this event possible. We listen, we believe, and we support you. You're beyond brave. You're absolutely fierce. Having said that, I'm going to open the mic up for District Attorney Schaefer.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Vettenberg Schaefer. I'm the District Attorney, and this is Chief Patrick Warnick with the Smethport Borough Police, and he's here today to assist us in this walk. My first job after college was as a caseworker at Children and Youth Services, which is a county agency down the road from here. Thank you. That's surprising. I'm usually loud. Ask anybody. My first job after college was as a caseworker at Children and Youth Services, and what we saw in that job was shocking. Many children in very terrible situations. But what I remember thinking was how brave the children were. I also saw how difficult child abuse cases were for my coworkers who were investigating it, and also law enforcement. After I went to law school, I was the guardian ad litem for the county, which is the lawyer who represents the children who are in the custody of Children and Youth Services. And just like when I was a caseworker, I would be meeting with my young clients, and they would be telling me what was going on in their world. And many, many times, it also was horrific. But once again, I was surprised at how trusting these children were to tell me and trust me with their information. And once again, I remember thinking how brave these children are. I've seen child abuse from both angles, and I still have that same view. In my current role, I see how lucky we are to have the resources of the county coming together to support children and families and help law enforcement and children and youth investigate these very difficult cases. When the police or a forensic interviewer talk to the children and provide a safe place for them to tell the story, again, it's overwhelming that the children trust these individuals with their information. They are reliving a nightmare that none of us will ever know, and they're trusting enough to give them that information. The children are brave. The forensic interview is an important tool in the police investigation in a fact-finding conversation. It is extremely important that we support local agencies who help children and families and support law enforcement and children and youth services in investigating cases of child abuse. They are the most difficult cases to investigate because, of course, child abuse almost always occurs in secret. This week, a McKean County man was sentenced to 19 and a half years to 39, excuse me, this is very emotional for us, 19 and a half years to 39 years for abusing 3 children over the course of 2 years. And of course, the abuse was horrific. And when we had the trial on the case last summer, the children came in front of the judge, the jury, and the defendant. And they came into the large courtroom, which coincidentally is right upstairs. And these children told the jury what had happened to them. And those children were brave. I've seen many examples of bravery, but also resilience. Even putting on this walk is a sign of bravery and resilience, that sexual abuse will not stop us, and it will not stop the victims. The sentence this past week was the result of excellent police work and collaboration and support from local agencies to provide services to the families and assist law enforcement. And it's because of the difficulty in investigating these types of cases that this walk is important, recognizing child victims and also raising awareness to help us recognize signs of abuse. Please continue to support our county agencies, Children and Youth Services, the CAC, and the YWCA, who coincidentally is recognizing Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And as always, please support our local police in their difficult task in investigating child abuse. And thank you for coming out today.
I now want to welcome Commissioner Cliff Lane up. Cliff also sits as the chair of our advisory board for the Children's Advocacy Center and has been very supportive of us since the beginning. So,
yeah. Good morning. I thank everyone that came out today. It was a very great walk from the standpoint that we had a very good turnout. The one thing I want to talk about just real quickly here is, you know, in the United States, CAC centers didn't even start till 1986. Think about that, 86. I was in my 30s then. And then it hit Pennsylvania in the 90s. And here in McKean County, we started in 2013. So we've been doing it for 9 years. We've had 4 people that have been very instrumental in making it happen. Mikkel and Josh, Tanya, and of course, Mindy Brown. So that's amazing, you think about it, because it is a very tough job because they are dealing with children that have had, like Steph said, terrible things happen to them, things that we don't even want to imagine. And that's so important. So the one thing that I had done is I stole shamelessly from the CAC's Pennsylvania site a Margaret Mead quote: "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And we're seeing that overseas right now with the people in Ukraine, and it is a small group that is fighting for their freedom. But I still think about CAC, it's Children Advocacy Center. It's a very positive thing for people that have had very negative things happen to them. And the other thing is, after the forensic interview is done and after the trial, the Advocacy Center still helps that child continue on, because we know when something happens in our life that's traumatic, it doesn't just go away. So I do appreciate, and I want to thank everyone here for recognizing the people that are doing this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Cliff. I'm reading these on behalf of a mom who's experienced some of this. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here today. This is the second year for the walk to raise awareness for child abuse. Almost 4 years ago, my family went through something that no family should ever have to go through, and it affects the entire family. At first, when a child tells you what happens, you may think this can't be possible. When a child comes to you and tells you something has happened, listen to them, believe them. I also would like to put a big thank you out to the Children's Advocacy Center, because without them, these families would not have gotten the help they needed after the abuse. They truly fight for our kids, and a thank you to the DA's office for fighting for a child until justice was served. I hope you all keep up the fight and continue to protect our kids. And this comes from a child. To kids, don't be afraid to tell if someone hurts you. Be proud of yourself if you tell, because you are brave. Don't ever be afraid to tell. So on that note, I'm going to bring up Fella, right, to finish everything off. As he's coming up, I just also want to say a thank you to Josh for flying the drone and keeping all this running, and Tanya Hartzell for being very instrumental in keeping everything moving forward.
Thank you, Mikkel. Can everybody hear me okay? Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for being here today. The weather wasn't very conducive to us, but it shows how much everybody really cares when you're here. This is what my wife had written. It's a view from the victim's side. Thank you for joining us today on our second Community Awareness Walk. When I look around and see how many here are here to protect our kids, it makes our hearts smile. Almost 4 years ago today, our lives changed. It changed who we were, what we thought, and what we did. It doesn't seem like it has been that long, because we all remember it like it was yesterday. There was never a time that crossed our minds of, should we report this? Have all of you noticed that it seems like every day there's something posted about arrests being made for child abuse? Just in McKean County, it seems like only a weekly thing anymore. Why is this? Is it because we are all becoming more aware of the knowledge of what to look for? And finally, this isn't an issue being brushed under the rug, that finally these kids are getting justice. What we have learned over this time is our kids, grandkids, nieces, and nephews really need the knowledge of what abuse means. When I was a kid, my grandmother used to say, ignorance is bliss. I had no idea what she was talking about. What she was saying was a person who does not know any about a problem does not worry about it. That's true still today. There are people out there that think, hey, hasn't happened to us, we don't have to worry about it. The only way you are going to know there's a problem is with knowledge of what to look for, when to listen, and when to react. Everyone that knows me knows nothing stops me from protecting a child, be it mine, my grandchild, or yours. I'm not going to apologize for this. I'm going to keep going. Smethport Police Department and our DA can agree with this. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to keep fighting for these kids. It didn't stop with the trial and the sentencing. Just because we got justice doesn't mean that we have to stop fighting for the next child. After all, we believe the real heroes are the kids. When I look out today at our 4 grandkids standing here and all the kids that are here to walk on this cold morning, I truly believe awareness is spreading. Our eyes are being opened. This year, the Child Advocate Center had 172 referrals and 135 interviews. That means 135 kids had to give an interview of what had happened to them. An interview with a forensic interviewer when they get to tell their side, I won't say tell their story, because when I said you have to tell your story to someone else, I was told it's not a story, Nana, it's the truth. Things aren't like they used to be, where a child has to repeat it over and over again. The Child Advocacy Center is such a calm, relaxed setting for a child. They treat them like their own. And more than likely, by the time the trial comes around, you feel more like family. They truly saved us. All we ask is please talk to your child, listen to your child, and pay attention. An abuser can be the least likely person you could think of, be it emotional, physical, or sexual. Give your child the knowledge what is right and what is wrong on treatment towards them. Encourage them to talk to you and believe in them. We as adults need to protect all these kids and make them feel safe. Thank you again for your support, and remember, if they are brave enough to tell, you be brave enough to report. And the last thing I'd like to say is I want to thank, once again, Mikal, Tanya, Mia, and Josh for everything you do at the Child Advocacy Center, because I'll tell you, they are fantastic people. And like I said last year, if you ever think about giving any donations of any sort, no matter what it is, they would be happy to have it. So support them. Thank you very much.